Hi, this is the Key of Life and Spirit Ministry, and we are producing some programs. My name is Dorothy Peebles-Pelley, and I am an ordained minister, so I'm Reverend Dorothy. My co-producer today and for all of our programs will be Karynn Krill Weinstein, and she is here today. Karynn, you want to tell us a little bit about your background?
Yes. My name is Karynn Krill Weinstein. I've gone to school at Southern Connecticut State University, studied undergraduate as a physical education teacher, and went back and got my master's in exercise physiology. I have my master's in physical education.
Thank you, Karynn. Thank you. We just wanted to put out there that we are not just here talking about these things, but that we've had life experiences
Yes, we have.
and background in all of this. And our ministry, Key of Life Spirit Ministry, is producing and presenting our programs. And the programs are to help our viewers learn about being the best people that they can be. With a positive self-image and having learned to relax and relieve stress, you can become strong, confident, and the best you that you can be. And you'll find your place in the universe. Remember, without you, the universe would not be the same.
Hi, this is Dorothy Peebles-Pelley, Karynn Weinstein, and our guest today is Robin Tesei. We are talking about angels today. Everybody has a guardian angel. Everybody has a connection to angels. But some of us just don't know how to deal with it or don't understand it. So we've invited Robin here to have a discussion on what it all means. And I'm hoping that you will then be able to connect with your angels. And we'll give contact information at the end of the program so that you can contact Robin and go on her website and find out all the wonderful things there are to do to learn about angels. So we'll get started with our discussion by asking Robin Tesei, and I'm going to call you Robin from now on, a couple of questions, and then we're just going to discuss it.
Okay.
Now, the first question that everybody wants to know is, how did you get involved with doing all of these angel things?
Right. Well, this started back in 2000. So I've been working with the angels actually for almost 15 years. And I always had a very strong faith in God with my upbringing. And but as I got older, I felt like there was something else out there. I didn't know what it was, but I just had this feeling. And so actually, a friend of a friend, we started talking, and she brought up the subject of angels. And I immediately was just absorbing it and resonating with it. And then she gave me a book, How to Speak with Angels. And I read the book, and I was just hooked. And from that day forward, I wrote my angels every single day, and I received beautiful, wonderful messages. So it's been great, great guidance. And then from that, I just attended more and more workshops and seminars, and I read other books. And I became certified so that I could teach my own workshops. And I had this great passion to start a business and to try to help empower others and try to help as many people as possible to be aware of these wonderful angels and the great guidance they provide to us. So it is my passion. I absolutely love it. And I'm very thankful you have invited me to be on the show today. So thank you very much.
Right. When I was pastor at Riverside Community Church, we invited Robin several times to do her workshop there. And it was very, very interesting. And one of the things that Robin, you taught me about was angel journaling.
Yeah.
And so I do my angel journaling. And I think I told you the story when we were talking about angel guides and angels. And I had an angel guide who we determined was a cousin who had passed away.
Oh.
And she came on in my meditation and gave me a message to call her mom immediately call her mom and tell her a certain message, that everything was going to be okay and there would be no more pain. Well, my aunt was down in Virginia, and I called her, and she was a very talkative, gregarious person. And she said, I can't talk, I'm in too much pain. I fell and broke my ribs, and I'm in so much pain. I'll talk to you later. And I said, well, let me just tell you this, that Marilyn gave me a message, and here's the message. I gave her the message, and she said, thanks, okay, goodbye, and hung up. 2 days later, she called me, and she said, I went to the doctor's today, and I have to tell you, I went to bed right after we talked on the phone, and you gave me Marilyn's message. And I woke up the next morning with absolutely no pain. Went all day with no pain, and today I had no pain. I went to the doctor, and he took a checkup x-ray, and he said, I must have diagnosed you wrong because your rib isn't broken. And she was
that.
fine.
Amazing.
No pain, no
love
problems.
that.
So
Nice.
she said, check your other x-ray, and he did, and yes, the rib was broken. So
Amazing.
that was just absolutely amazing, and that came through my angel journal. So
That's wonderful.
Robin guided us on all that. So you might want to tell us a little bit about how to connect with your angels.
Right. Well, it's well, first of all, if you want to ask the angels for any type of help, 4 steps are to ask, to believe, to say thank you, and to let it go. And so, first of all, we need to ask because of the rule of free will. We must ask first. And the angels are anxiously waiting, fluttering around us, wanting to help us, but they're not allowed to until we ask first. The exception is if we're in danger and they need to intervene, they will. So we ask, and then we believe that what we ask, the angels are going to bring to us. And then we say thank you, and what thank you does is it confirms to them that we believe them, and it allows them to move on and do what they need to do to help us out. And then letting it go, furthermore, allows them to just work everything out in divine timing. And as far as the journaling goes and the writing goes, it's like you can sit down, and the first thing to do is to say a prayer so that you wrap God's white light around you and you are fully protected. And you can call in the angels, ask them to be with you and to bring you a message to help guide you on your path. And then take a few deep breaths, because with every breath, they say the angel flows through our breath because they are actually energy, and our breathing is an energy flow. So you take a few deep breaths, and then you just close your eyes and relax. And then you can take a pen to paper, or you can sit in front of your computer. And a very great question to start with is, Dear angels, what would you like me to know to help guide me on my path? And then whatever words come into your mind, just keep typing. Don't think about it, don't edit it, don't question it. Just whatever comes to your mind, just keep typing it or keep writing it. And this is the angel's way of communicating to you. You also may get knowings, or you may actually see visual pictures. Just write down whatever you hear or see or know. And then after you go back and you read it, and many people in the beginning question it and think, oh, that's just me talking to myself. A good practice to do is, if you're questioning it, put it down for a few days and go back and read it, because you are going to see that these words and guidance are so loving and supportive and encouraging. And we typically do not talk to ourselves this way. And the messages are so much more loving, and they're so much nicer to ourselves than we are to us. So,
Well said.
and just like practicing anything, they say if you practice writing every day for 21 days, then it gets into the habit. But each day, and they don't want to overwhelm people. They'll give you little baby steps each day, and just give you amazing, amazing guidance. And I would like to share a little story. If
Sure.
Yeah, so the other day, as you know, I write a weekly angel message, which I like to send out to those who have been following the Angel Happiness workshops and readings and all that. And so I sat down the other day and I said, Dear angels, what message do you have for the Angel Happiness members? And so they said, dearest child, we're happy that you write us each week for this message, but we must first and foremost tell you something that we need you to know right now for yourself. And I was like, oh, okay. So they said to me that I needed to see this woman named Lori, who I've seen before, who does therapeutic reflexology. She's also a Reiki master, so she infuses her Reiki healing while she's doing the reflexology. And they say it's very important you see her to keep the chakras clear, which also keeps you elevated spiritually. And the interesting thing about that was, so I said, okay, I'm listening to this. So I called her up and I told her what the angel said, and she started laughing. She goes, Robin, you're not going to believe this, but she goes, just last week, she goes, she was getting a message from the angels saying to her, Lori, you need to work on more feet, because she does the reflexology. And she said the only name that they kept giving her was Robin Tesei, Robin Tesei. So she said she was walking around the house chanting, Robin Tesei, why are you telling me Robin Tesei? And then I called her. So they were telling her she needed to work on me, and they were telling me I needed to go to her. So this is how they work, and it's just fabulous.
Right. I find a funny thing. I'm dyslexic. Can't spell. Love the computer because I can spell check. When I do my angel messages, I can't spell, my angels can.
Yes.
And the handwriting is different from my own.
I love that.
I can tell, the minute I open my journal, I can tell what I wrote left off, and then it changes. It's bigger and loopier and dashes with smiley faces and things like that coming up.
That is such a great point that you brought up, because that is so true. Especially, I know a handful of others who have mentioned to me that they can't spell for the life of them, but when they sit down and journal and receive the messages, it's perfect spelling, and they're just surprising themselves. And I also have to say, there's times that words come through, I don't even know what they mean, and I'm looking at them up in the dictionary. So, that's from the angels, but I just love that example that you just gave. That's just so true.
Well, I noticed it very quickly. I said, oh my, this is interesting.
Yes.
And for me, that kind of confirmed that this was from something else.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we enjoyed that. Now, we were talking about prayers and starting out with prayers, and I'd like to just go into that a little bit. When you did the workshop, you had us do a prayer to the Lord, because we do not pray to angels. Robin has pointed out that angels actually pray to God. And then we asked the angels to assist us. And I really appreciated what you said about surrounding yourself with pure white light, because that's God light, or it's called Christ light. And even people who are not Christians in their beliefs can surround themselves with God light.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's very important to start out in the right way, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's super important. You just want to stay protected in that white light, and know that, because when you pray, God's there with you. And then ask the angels to be with you. And it's God's angels. It's divine, loving, light angels. So yes.
Yeah, I think that's major importance. And we had a little discussion about that earlier, so I thought it'd be interesting to bring it up.
My husband and I, each night, we always ask for a white light around us and around the whole building before we go to sleep. So we use it when we talk about angels and all, I'm just discussing it. But we also use the pure white light to give us a good night's sleep and relax. So there's many ways to use God's great white light.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Christ light is a way to protect yourself. So anytime, and we've talked about other psychic things on this show, but anytime you're going to deal in anything of that nature, you should be doing it in that context. Protect yourself with God's light. Base what you do in prayer. And that's why I was impressed with you when you came to the church, because you were saying the very things that I have been taught when I do my readings. And I don't use angel cards, I use regular cards. But you came in with these angel cards, and I thought it might be, even though you didn't bring a deck, if you could tell us a little bit about the angel cards and the readings you do.
Sure. Well, I like to use Doreen Virtue's Angel Oracle cards. When she created them, they were purely infused with God's light, and she channeled the angels' messages, and it was just pure angel guidance putting these angel cards together, and they are just another divination tool for receiving the angels' messages. So
And validation.
yes, absolutely, and validation. And so it's actually fun to use the angel cards, and anybody can use them.
Right.
And so when you get a new deck of angel cards, because the cards have been in the factory, they were manufactured, they've been shipped, they're in the store, the person's stocking them on the shelf. All these different people are touching these packages, and anything we touch, we're putting our own energy on them. So we want to remove that energy. So when you first open your new deck of angel cards, it's important to hold them in your non-dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, you would hold them in your left hand. Take your dominant hand and just knock them one time, and it just clears them. Also, for those who love working with crystals, you can put a clear crystal on it, and it will clear away any other energies. And then you touch the cards, each card with your hands, because you're infusing your energy on them. And then it's important to ask God to infuse his white light and loving blessings into these angel cards, and also ask the angels to infuse their love in these cards. So it's just pure love, just pure support and blessed cards. And then you could hold the cards and you could say your name several times if you're doing a reading for yourself. And this way you're focusing on your energy. And then as you're shuffling the cards, ask a question, any question, just as you would if you're journaling. And you ask a question, and sometimes a card will fly out, which means they really want you to pay attention to that card, right? And so shuffle, and then you're just going to have a knowing of when to stop, or sometimes the cards start clumping together, so you know to stop. And then you take the top 3 cards off and lay them out, and the first card to the left is immediate past message, like the past 3 months. The middle card is what's occurring now, and the right card is for the next 3 months. And so with whatever question you're asking, these cards will give you the answer, and it's always right on. And it's a wonderful divination tool to receiving the angels' messages.
And it's interesting that you use the term tool, because so many people have feelings about using the cards or using crystals or using something. And all of these things are tools. It's like picking up a pencil when we do the journaling. The paper and the pencil are just tools to get their message across, because sometimes we just aren't opening ourselves up to hear things or to get a vision. Everybody doesn't have that.
Right.
So this is a way of opening a passage. And the white light's going to protect you from getting something that you shouldn't have. Mm-hmm. The angels will come through in that light.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's what's beautiful. Again, all of these messages, whether you're using the cards or you're journaling or you're doing an angel reading for someone, like Dorothy, you pointed out, is when you pray to God and ask him to wrap you in the white light, and you ask his divine angels to come. All the messages are positive, loving, supportive, encouraging. Nothing negative will come out, as you pointed.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important to understand that, because then it gives you anyone who wants to use these cards, and you can get them in stores. I was given a set as a gift from an angel store that someone gave to me. Uh-huh. But you can use them and use them safely. So, it's a way to start. And of course, your classes are another way to learn how to deal with these things.
I have an example with Archangel Michael. Dave and I, my husband and I, were in our bedroom. The doorknob was broken. Just turned, but wouldn't let the door open. And we were there for 2.5 hours, chiseling the wood, so we could maybe make a hole where it could come open up. Well, that didn't work. 2.5 hours later, which is going on 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, we started to think, what are we going to do now? So I sat down and said, Dave, I'm too tired to continue. So Dave stands there, and then it comes to my attention. I thought, Robin. So I said, Archangel Michael, open this door. And the door came open, and Dave grabbed the door, opened it wide open to make sure it did not close on us again. And David, my husband, ran to me and says, grabs me by the arms and says, if I didn't believe before, I am now a 99% believer.
That's wonderful. That is such a beautiful story and so typical of how they help.
If I didn't learn from you how to utilize all your knowledge with Robin, I'd really be a lost psychic. But another time we saw an angel in action. We were going home up the hill, and there's a bend in the road, and the man who was in a private truck, was coming down very fast down the hill, and he cannot see around the bend. And around the bend was there an 8-year-old boy with his bike, pretty much in the middle of the street. So my husband and I say, look at this. We could see both sides. I said, David, pull over, but